Hey guys, AscendantGod here with Raid Shadow Legends, going to be doing a beginner's guide to Platinum. Now, before I do, a couple of things. Number one, yes, I know my throat's swollen. Don't ask, I'm not getting into it. But yeah, my throat's swollen. I'm sorry about that. It feels a little funny. I'll do my best to try to talk like I normally do. But before I get into the video itself, wanted to say thank you for all of your help getting me up to over 1,000 subscribers on the channel, guys. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate your support. If you haven't subscribed yet, if you find this video useful, make sure to subscribe here, guys. It makes it a lot easier for you to keep on top of my latest content and helps support my channel. So it really helps out, guys. So don't forget to subscribe to the little icon in the bottom right here on the video. Again, if you haven't. If you have, I really, really appreciate your support, guys. Thank you. Now, for Platinum, I've done videos on Platinum before, but now I'm going to cover some tips on getting into Platinum and staying in Platinum. All right, to start with the game in its current state, Platinum revolves around Torment here. The problem with this is that Torment makes encounters completely random. It has almost nothing to do with skill with Torment. You have to hope you luck out and the enemy has more champions getting frozen than you do in the encounter. But in this video, I'm not covering problems in Platinum. It's all about handling Platinum. The only reason I'm touching on Torment is because of how RNG he is. No matter what you do in Arena, there is a lot of RNG in it that you have no control over. So if I feel like somebody only won because of really lucky RNG on their end, I might fight them again. We'll see what happens, but that's something you need to consider as well, is if you think you really should have been able to take somebody in Platinum, but the only reason they won is because their Torment just froze your champion so many times you never even got any turns, might want to try your luck again on that one. Now, I'm not a whale. I've spent a lot on my account, more than I'd like to admit, but I'm not to the whale status. So I'm in the same boat as a lot of you are. I don't have gear with perfect stats. I have modest gear, but not perfect gear. So some of the people you'll encounter in Platinum and some of the content creators you'll see out there have spent thousands and thousands on the game, and as such, they've farmed dungeons enough to have gear with perfect stats on them. The only way to handle that is to play smarter. All right, now how to do that is this. You look at the top players in Platinum here. You look at what champions you tend to see a lot in here. All right, so you compare them to the champions that you have. So you can scroll through here. You're going to see a ton of Duchess. You're going to see a ton of Arbiter. Torment is going to be in almost every single one. Longhorn is great, especially if you have a Longhorn and a Skull Crown, or Big Gun to use in conjunction with them. Santa Claus is one you'll see a lot. Hegemon, anybody who has Hegemon is going to have them in their arena because he's just astounding. You'll see a lot of Hegemon because he is God broken in arena in his current state. Ceres, so you know, you'll see a lot of the same types of champions over and over. So then that can help you figure out what is viable, but there are other factors that you need to consider as well. For example, in some compositions, Hackor and Smash Lord can be amazing, but he gives a debuff protection that handles Torment. On my composition, he doesn't work typically well, though, because I've tried him, I maxed him out. My problem is that in my arena composition, my main one, I have 2 Skull Crowns. They're dependent on a very small window of opportunity to basically take out the enemy while they have their unkillable buffs on them. All right, so the problem is that with Hackhorn, when he triggers the debuff protection, it also triggers Torment's ability to freeze your champions. So this can cause my Skull Crowns to get frozen during the time they're unkillable. So he can really mess me up. So with that said, though, it is a really good idea to have multiple options for the arena for flexibility. The more you play arena and the more you learn various champions' strengths and weaknesses, the more you'll start to learn what is good to counter with what. So I hang on to Hackhorn here just because in certain compositions and against certain enemies, he is viable and he will work well. It just depends on who I'm fighting. More often than not, I don't use him. So we'll see if I use him at all today. Maybe, maybe not. But as far as masteries, I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to play in Platinum because of Torment, you're going to have to get rid of any masteries that give turn meter boosts. So an example here is Rapid Response. All right. Any of these types of masteries can cause Torment to freeze you. It's just not worth the risk. So if you have any of these types of masteries with turn meter boosts here, get rid of them. You have to redo your masteries if you want the best chances as you can get in platinum. All right, now as far as masteries, there's way too much to get into in one single video. I'll show you some of mine real quick here just to give you an idea, but remember, what is best for my specific composition may not be what is best for your composition. So with Tormund, fairly consistent. You want to go with defense and support with him. You want as much accuracy on him as you can possibly get for his freeze ability. You also want those counterattacks in the defense tier here as well. This one here, retribution, as well as the deterrence. Okay, and I feel those two are far more important than the extra damage that you would get from the offense tree here. All right, now with Arbiter, I went with the same two trees, defense and support, but I went with different masteries here since her skills are completely different. Normally, I would suggest on focusing on resistance over defense, and normally I would get unshakable with her, but with the build that I went for with her, I simply couldn't go over to the resistance bonus here in the bottom tier, so I went for defense instead. All right, for platinum, if you can't get at least 350 resistance on a champion, there's really not much point in getting any resistance. So there's something else you can grab in the defense tree to compensate for not having resistance, which can help you. I'll show you that in a second. And on my skull crowns, you already saw one of them here, both of them same exact masteries. All right. The two trees you should always have with skull crowns is the offense and defense tree. Skull crowns damage is just way too good to pass up the offense tree, and you definitely want those counterattacks on them from the defense tree as well. Now, some other vital masteries you'll see me always grab. Resurgent here. Resurgent is an amazing ability. It can remove debuffs from your champions when they take damage. It's one that's an absolute must in the defense tree. Another is Wisdom of Battle, just because of Tormund. With how much you get frozen with Tormund and Platinum, this mastery is great for protecting you after you get frozen. It also works great with some other debuffs you might run into as well. Retribution and Deterrence here, these two are great. So basically, so that for your champions that have hard-hitting attacks. So if they don't have a powerful A1, it doesn't make much sense to get these. If they do have a powerful A1 or a powerful debuff on their A1, absolutely get these ones here because they're great. All right. Improved parry is great since the majority of the attacks you'll be getting hit by in Platinum are going to be critical hits. So it's almost a guaranteed 8% reduction there. And in the support tree, if you are going support, depending on the champion that you go with, like say him, for example, I haven't maxed him out yet, but you want accuracy. So you want the +10, you want this accuracy. You know, if you're going for the accuracy tree, or Tormund would be a better example, you want as much accuracy as you can possibly grab in that tree, possibly even the +50 down here. All right. Because if you have somebody in the support tree, it should be for the reason that it's debuffs. So you want to grab all the accuracy you can. You also want to grab Evil Eye in this one. The turn meter reduction is great for buying you more time in arena against the enemy. And then in the offense tree for damage dealers, you either want Flawless Execution down here, which is what I have on my Skull Crowns, okay, for the +20% crit damage, or Helm Smasher for the chance to ignore defense. All right. Flawless Execution is more reliable since it's a consistent +20% damage. All right. Helm Smasher is not as reliable. It can do more damage potentially, but it's random. So my suggestion is Flawless Execution for consistency. But if you have a hard time making it over there because of your build, you know, then maybe it might make more sense to go with Helm Smasher. It is viable. It's just not as reliable. It's more unpredictable. All right, and as far as what gear, that is another one that's way too much to cover in one single video. What I will say is that this depends on your priority and intention with them. So obviously on my Skull Crowns, I want 100% crit rate. This one here is 1% short at 99% crit rate, but as close as I could get with the gear that I put on her. All right, and so crit rate is vital to get to 100%, and then tons of crit damage with some modest attack if they're attack-based champions. All right, attack has pretty bad diminishing returns though, so after about 4,000, it doesn't really do a whole lot. That's why you want to focus a lot more on the crit damage than you'd want to on attack. All right, and on Arbiter, I wanted her as fast as possible here, so I got her with a bunch of speed. All right, and then You know, after that, it's survival, so hit points and defense. Not as much as I'd like, but the speed is more important when it comes to Arbiter, because in most encounters, excluding Tormund, whoever goes first is usually going to win. Tormund has made an exception to that and made it more random, but Tormund's also going to be getting nerfed eventually, so you want as much speed as you can on your turn meter booster, like, say, Arbiter or Gorgorath or whatever. Now, with Tormund, like I said previously, it's all about accuracy with him. You see I have a ton of accuracy on him. If you're going for Platinum, you want at least 400 accuracy on him, if not more. After that, you want to get some crit rate, crit damage with a modest amount of defense on him. I mean, he can hit fairly hard, but your priority should be accuracy with him because of how often his passive freeze ability here triggers. All right. Now, with anyone like, say, Hackworn or Duchess, anybody with like debuff protections, you want them to have a lot of speed so that they do go before any of your other damage dealing champions. Mine aren't that fast in this composition, so he didn't need a whole heck of a lot of speed to go faster than them. But you also want to give that champion a lot of resistance, all right? Because if they get stunned, frozen, whatever else, they can't protect the rest of your team like with like what he does here, where, you know, he has the block debuffs protection. Can't use it if he's already stunned or frozen. So you need a lot of resistance on that type of champion. Now, I wanted to focus mainly on how to help you build your Platinum composition, so I'm not sure how many Platinum fights I'm going to do here. I just want to do a couple examples to give you an idea of some of the things that happen in Platinum. But before I do, when going into Platinum, I strongly advise you make an Excel spreadsheet of the battles and what happens, so then that way you can keep track of who you can and can't take, and you can win more consistently. I haven't done mine yet because I don't tend to do Platinum. I just did it mainly for this video for you guys. I don't feel it's worth it because, I mean, again, I'm not a whale. I don't have the gear to compensate, and I don't have the champions that are optimal. I have a few that are decent, but I don't have a really, really good debuff remover like, say, Duchess. And I don't also have Hegemon, which is also amazing. But tying into all this, it is good to change up some of your gear and composition from time to time. This throws off players that have spreadsheets like this themselves, because most Platinum players are going to have spreadsheets if they're consistently in Platinum and they're a hardcore player. So it makes you less predictable, and it makes the enemy less likely to make you a target if they don't feel that you're a predictable win for them. So like this composition that I have now that you're going to see, I have some things that I plan to change on them. But I wanted to do the video first and then make the changes afterwards. Otherwise, it puts me at a disadvantage against others knowing what my stats are in Platinum. So one of the downsides of being a content creator, but I'm here to help you guys, and I have plenty of tricks up my sleeve to keep myself unpredictable. So if you want to take me in Platinum, go ahead, guys, have fun. See how it works out for you. So anyway, let's head into Platinum here and do some battles. Now, I haven't spent much time in Platinum yet here. As like I said earlier, I felt it wasn't worth the troubles. You only get the bonuses once a week, or so it's like, I mean, not the bonuses, but the rewards that you get once a week, and you only get one more medal than you do in gold. You get 4 in gold, you get 5 in this. So unless you can win the majority of the fights, it's not worth it, at least not until you don't need any more stats in Great Hall. If you guys are to that, like, kudos to you, because that takes a long time. But anyway, let's go ahead and do some fights here. So I'm going to try to take on guys that it looks like I can most likely take. So with this here, this looks like something I should be able to handle. I think I don't do hegemons because there's nothing you can do to counter Hegemon unless you have a ton of resistance. My group does not have a lot of resistance, but with this one here, I should be able to handle them. Nothing in here that's that big of a threat. They have one serious damage dealer, Foley, Molly, to get all of us in check. All right, so Molly already got frozen, so no provoke that I need to worry about. That's great. Good. My 2 Skull Crowns did not get frozen. That is what I want. They did get provoked, though. That's not good. Oh, they just all got frozen. That's nice. All right. What the heck? See, I don't even know what's going on here right now. It's like, what the heck just happened? All right. So I want to get rid of that debuff on him, I think. Actually, you know what? No, I want to take her out as quickly as possible. I do not want her going. All right, great. We're good. We're good. That's it. This is a win. All right, I'm going to put it on auto. So that's the great thing about my Skull Crowns here is they're squishy. They can't take much damage. But as long as they can survive and they get that unkillable. Now here's that debuff protection. That there is great. Although on her, she got killed because, like I said, they don't tend to survive long. That's why they don't work well with Hackhorn. Hackhorn relies on the notion that you're going to be playing for the long run. You're all about surviving and protecting yourself from debuffs. They don't survive long. They're really, really squishy. But see, like I said, there's that window of opportunity for them to do a lot of damage there. All right. So first win. I don't like playing this guy because of his bombs there. Hold on, sorry, I got something that popped up there. All right, so do not like Roshguard because if Roshguard triggers, actually, you know what? Roshguard isn't that big of a threat in this composition. I'm going to do this because all I need to do is take out their Skull Crown. All right, hopefully I don't get frozen. Now see, look at that. That's horrible. All 4 of mine got frozen. Only 1 of theirs got frozen. That's where, like I said, this is complete RNG. That's just complete BS. That was just... There was nothing I could do about that there. But now they don't have unkillable. So this is... And they got the... Yeah, there's no point to this. There's absolutely no point. I'm going to lose. Yeah, see, that was just really, really bad RNG there. But... that's just, I mean, I don't even want to bother with them. But like I can do the notes here later as far as these fights, but I'll do this real quick just to show you. So I'm going to do Chaos, loss. Just not really much that needs to be said there. I'm just going to look at it and I'll be like, oh yeah. I normally don't like taking Roshguard, but I figured I'd give it a shot because they only had the 1 damage dealer, but all that it takes is that Roshguard going, and then now they're invincible for 2 turns, and like that. Roshguard is just God broken too. He's garbage. Anyway, so yes, you see, keep track. All right, so let me see what else we got here to pick from. But at least you saw why Roshguard is BS. Roshguard is BS, God broken in Arena. Hegemon is God broken in Arena, and Duchess is God broken in Arena. If you see those champions in basically one of these encounters, you probably want to avoid them. What I was relying on is Roshguard getting frozen, because if Roshguard got frozen, I would have won. Like, I mean, I guess I could give it a round again, because, I mean, I got some arena tokens here. So I'm going to show, just to try to give you an example of how random this can be. Because you saw in that one, all of my champions all got frozen. That was friggin' ridiculous. Like, that should not typically happen. And see, now 2 of them out of the 4 got frozen. 2 of theirs got frozen, at least 2. Now 3 of them did. But Roshguard is not getting frozen at all. That's friggin' BS. So now there's nothing I can do. They all have block damage on them. God, this is friggin' ridiculous. Alright, well, I need to take her out. If I don't take her out. And now she has unkillable, of course. Yeah, this group is just BS because of that friggin' Roshguard there. Like, it's just horrible. What? What? How did she... Ugh. Wow, and she's still unkillable. I thought she just got a friggin' turn. There we go. Alright, well, definitely take her out. She's going to resurrect her, but I'll be able to knock her right back down. This is horrible. This is absolutely friggin' horrible. This is friggin' ridiculous. That's why I hate Roshguard. I absolutely hate Roshguard. He is, like I said, he's God broken. Really? Every single person? I don't even understand why they were all getting to attack me. What the hell just happened? This is BS. This is, do you see that? 3 of my No. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Again, that is BS. They have a ton of resistance on their Roshguard. Ton of resistance on him. But that's why you got to keep these notes. Because now I know, like, absolutely not on him. So, resist too high, so I know I'm not going to try my chances with him again. I mean, if I did it enough times, eventually I could luck out. All that it would take is him getting frozen and I'd be good, but he has so much freaking resistance that, like, I don't know if he was resisting. I wasn't paying attention to that, but, it sucks. Anyway, alright, 344, that would be rough. That Mountain King is really OP too, but, I'm going to refresh here. So yeah, it's like you know what you can and can't take here. And like, see, this here, Hackhorn isn't a threat to me. This guy could be a threat. Altan can be a threat. But this guy here, what the heck is it that he does? Oh yeah, so he's immune to all those things. So he can't be frozen. That's one thing that really sucks about him. Block buffs for 2 turns. Yeah, I don't want to take him because he can keep my Skull Crowns from becoming unkillable. So I absolutely don't want to take him. This one here should be able to take, what the heck is he's like turn meter boosts or something. Yeah, removes all debuffs and then block debuffs. Yeah, but not really worried about him blocking debuffs here. The heck, I thought, okay, I'm really confused. Is it just me? I thought he had an Ignatius here. Now it just turned to a Kale. That's weird. Oh, I'm gonna take him. Now he's got, what? What the hell just happened? Wow. Look at this, I was real lucky. Oh, and he was very unlucky. Look, 3 of his got frozen. None of mine got frozen. That's beautiful. That's what I like to see. Yeah, see, game over. You know, it's because really bad luck on his part. See, I love my friggin' Skull Crowns. So they do those counterattacks when they take that damage. Yeah, their A1s are just great for that damage. But yeah, this is completely over here. And see, now since this Skull Crown got frozen, I have that chance to counterattack when somebody gets frozen. That's that counterattack in the defense tree. So one of my Skull Crowns got frozen, the other one counterattacked because of it. So that's something that's great there. This here is kind of iffy. I shouldn't have a problem taking him. The Valkyrie will make it harder to kill the enemy, but I should be all right here. But it depends. Again, Tormund makes things completely random. It depends on how many of my champions get frozen. Tormund got frozen, which is a low priority. Really, the main reason Tormund's here is to just freeze all the enemies. So he's the lowest priority. She's second lowest. My Skull Crowns are the ones that I really do not want getting frozen. But I can't really put resistance on them. It doesn't make sense. I mean, could I put some more resistance on them? Sure. Does it make any point? No, because again, if you can't put at least 350 resistance on a champion, it's not worth it. And it's not worth me foregoing all the damage I could have them do for it. What I rely on is that there's that, what is it, the resurgence or whatever, the debuff, the mastery in the defense tree that gives you a chance to, whatchamacallit, gives you that chance to remove a debuff if you take more than 25% of your hit points and damage, because they obviously pretty much always take more than 25%. All right, so I'm going to give this one a shot. They don't have anybody that does serious damage here. They're kind of relying on protecting themselves from debuffs and provoking you. But even if she provokes me, my Skull Crowns do a lot of damage on their A1, so that's not a big deal. Nice, we're looking good. Yeah, this is pretty much done here. I mean, this is usually in most fights, you can tell within the first like turn or two who's going to win, depending on how many of what champions get frozen on what sides. See, Tormund does so much garbage in the background with all of the turn meter and healing and like everything else that he can freeze and it has to check on it. He locks up fights so often like that because they're having to check so many different things, like these 14 chances of your champion getting frozen from Tormund. It's ridiculous. So those of you who don't have Tormund, now you can see why people are like so furious about him. But once you get rid of Tormund, though, then it goes right back to it being, you know, all about who's the fastest. So, all right, so 4K, blah, 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 that I could take. So do these notes again, and I think I'm not gonna do too many more here, but and just because, I mean, you guys got the idea here, and the main thing that I wanted to do was just show you how this tends to work out. But like I said, you can see how some things in here are very, very random. Some of these fights, if I was the one to have gotten more of my champions frozen from Tormund, I may have lost it. But since they were the one to get more frozen, then I lucked out. Duchess, I will not take once with Duchess. Duchess is the bane of my existence in this thing, because just all the stuff she does where she like reduces AoE damage, everything else, like she is ridiculous. Like people been complaining and said they need to nerf her. Playerium says they're not nerfing her. But it decreases the AoE damage by 25%, which is huge. A 25% reduction in your AoE damage in Arena. That is insane in and of itself. Revives all dead allies with 70% of their hit points. That's 70%. I mean, almost 3/4 of your life. Places a Veil buff on all of them and a continuous heal on all of them for 2 turns. That is insane as well, because then you can't target any of those champions that try to take them back down. Only one you can target is her, and they're going to have a ridiculous amount of defense and hit points on her to keep her alive. And she's defense-based too on top of that. So it's friggin' ridiculous. Like, they should have at least made this attack-based. Like, you make it defense-based, really? Like, she is God-broken in Arena as well. But anyway, so then she also has this increased attack, block debuffs. That's horrible because of the block debuffs. Perfect Veil. I mean, just the stuff she does is friggin' ridiculous. And then this shield that she does too. Just everything about her is ridiculous. And then she even has an aura for ally speed in all battles by 19%. She is freaking ridiculous. If I got her, I would be so happy, but she is God-broken in Arena as well. If you're using her in Arena, you should be ashamed of yourself. I would be ashamed of myself because I would use her. I would certainly use her just like I would use Hegemon, but she is God-freaking-broken. God-broken. But anyway, I think you get the idea here, though, guys, and I know I did quite a bit of a video already here. Maybe I'll do like 1 or 2 more fights. I don't know if I'm really going to. I don't think there's a need. I think you guys got the idea here. And a lot of these have Duchess, and I really don't want to take them. I'm probably just going to wait for this to refresh. But you get an idea of how things work in here and how you learn things. So, like, you got to look at champions. Sometimes you're not familiar with a champion like this one here. I was thinking that I sometimes have issues with him, and I was wondering why, and it was because he does that block buffs. Block buffs on Skullcrown is just, it's one of their weaknesses, because then again, they don't get their unkillable buff when they're about to die. They just die. Because I remember fighting him before, and I'm like, what the heck happened to my unkillable? It's because of the block buffs from him. Hackhorn with debuff protection doesn't matter. I'm not relying on debuffs on my group here, at least my main group. I'm not relying on debuffs. What I'm relying on is just tons of raw damage on them and just killing them as quickly as I can. So somebody with debuff protection, not a huge deal. That's why the Duchess, the thing that frustrates me with her is not the fact that she does the debuff protection, it's the fact that she can resurrect everybody, and she puts the perfect veil up on everybody, and she does that shield thing, and she does block debuffs, and I mean, there's just so many different things that she does that and then that 25% reduction in the AoE damage. I mean, it's everything about her is ridiculously overpowered, every single friggin' ability. Like, it's just crazy. But I think that covers the main things. I mean, I think you guys see, you know, how Arena works and what things to pay attention to, looking at the abilities of the other champions. And, I mean, there isn't anybody in here that I can really say, like, with this one here, I'll give this a shot. It's probably not a good idea because they have Duchess. But just to try to give you an example of something here, what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to completely change this up. Because I'm gonna get my Arbiter out of here. I still want Tormund because there's a lot of, like, the buffs from her, they'll be getting frozen because of that. But instead of her, I'm gonna put in my Hackhorn here. Alright, just to show you, I'm probably gonna lose this. But the thing is that Hackhorn here would work good against this composition because he's going to do bombs. Hackhorn is going to be able to remove those bombs and protect everybody. Oh, now the only one I can target is her, but now it's going to reduce all this by 25%. And look, she's just, and then she just healed herself, and she just resurrected everybody. So yeah, that's why, like I said, this one here, she is just ridiculous. I mean, look at all these friggin' buffs on them. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There's nothing I can do to come even close to taking her on. That's why no matter how skilled you are, no matter how good you are, it all, well, I shouldn't say all, 90% of it comes down to the champions that you have. I mean, look at this. Now she puts up buffs so frequently too. It's like now this one has a shield because of her A1. Everybody has debuff protections. They got veils, perfect veils, damage reduction by 25% on AoE attacks. Like, Ridiculous. This Madame Ceres, she is like a legendary. She's better than Tomb Lord. She makes Tomb Lord look like a friggin' joke. Tomb Lord isn't that great to begin with, but I mean, Madame Ceres blows him clear out the water. But yeah, you could see where Hakorn, in theory, could have worked well against this group. The problem is that Duchess Lilitu I'm weak against. Madame Ceres removed all of my buffs, making them worthless. So it's really, they have a really, really solid composition here. This is a really good, solid composition. Lord Shazar is great. Duchess Lilitu's God Broken. Madame Ceres is borderline God Broken, but she's great for debuff removal. Buff removal. I wasn't even thinking about that when I first went into it. But now you see an example of things you have to pay attention to. Is I should have been thinking that Hakorn would be worthless against Ceres, because Ceres counters Hakorn's buff protection. And this woman counters everything in the freaking game. Everything, except for maybe Hegemon. The Hegemon is the most God-broken in Arena. But anyway, I think that about covers it, though, guys. I mean, I figured I'd at least waste one of those medals just to show you something that's like complete BS. But anyway, if you have any questions or you're struggling with anything that this video didn't cover, let me know in the comments below, and I'll do what I can to help. And again, if you guys feel this was helpful and you want more of this in the future, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Check out my other videos, and also be sure to check out the show more part of the description section below if you want some great resources I put together for you guys. And also, since all of you can see, Tormund is a staple in Platinum. If you haven't heard, there is a nerf coming up for him. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. I mean, personally, I really don't like how random Tormund makes Arena, as you have seen here, what happens. But I also don't like the idea of it going back to it all being about speed again. So I'm a bit torn. I mean, I don't like Tormund in his current state. He's God-broken as well. But let me know what you guys think. You know, do you like Tormund? Do you dislike Tormund? Or are you somewhere in the middle? So let me know, guys. And in the meantime, I will catch you guys in the next episode. So until then.